Okay, today I have a Genius Q-Lock. It's something I'd never really heard of before. I found it on eBay. 3-star kite mark. Says it's good against snapping, drilling, picking, bumping. 2,000 pound guarantee. 5 keys. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty much like a basic dimple lock. So one can't expect too much out of it. But like I said, I've never seen it before. I've never seen it picked before. So I thought that sounds fun. We'll order that from the United Kingdom and see what is up. Okay, we have this is the external side, and this is the internal side. Usually the most obvious indication is the external side has the kite mark on it, and that usually also means more stab resistance, more pick resistance, that sort of thing. Just going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Got some binding on 4, 5. Maybe 5 pins in total. Okay, come back to the front. 1 is binding. Got some good movement there. 2's an interesting guy. It sits way up there. I feel like it needs to be picked. There it goes. But it starts way up high, so I don't know what's going on there. Deep falset. Picking 1 again. 2. Okay, here's 3. Nice counter rotation on 3. Definitely a spool there. Nothing new. Here we're going to approach 4, feels like. Oh, 4 went. And lost a little bit of the full set. 1. Okay. So 2 had to be picked again. 1 dropped. Way deep full set again. And this actually feels like 4 again. Okay, dropped 1 this time. 2, 1. Okay, did I make progress? Are we on 5 yet? Okay, I think that was 5. Okay, that was 2 again. Here's 1 again. And here's where it gets tricky. 2, 3, 4. Oh, here's way in the back, maybe. Oh, okay, so something weird happened way in the back. I don't know if some guy was overset or what. So there's some security pins in here. I'm not sure what yet. We're going to have to check it out. I spent some time hacking this thing apart. It was harder than one might expect. Here we're going to do the internal cylinder. 1 is binding. Standard pin. Oh, there's 2. That weird high set 2. This will be interesting to look at. Here's 3. Here's 4. Here's 5. And 6. Okay. All right. Let's take these guys apart and see what's inside. I'm very curious to see what's inside of this guy. And that pin 2, even on the internal side with all the standards, is left me a bit curious. Let's put the device out of the way. Allow automatic focus. Okay, we'll put this guy off to the side. Let's look at the fun and interesting one first, because you never know what's going to happen to interrupt your attempts. It's probably about the right size. We have some kind of circlip, as we might expect. that came off easily enough. All right. Definitely gonna need a shim. Keys. Let's make this easier on ourselves and take one key off of the set. Okay, here's the key. Big Q there for Genius Q, I guess. Maybe some kind of indirect bidding code. Pardon me. Okay, nothing terrible, nothing terrible, nothing terrible, nothing terrible. Oh, something's happening. Pins are trying to fire out of the bottom. Oh my goodness. Whoa, key control pins, okay. Whoa, all right, hang on a second. Oh boy. Okay, that was a key control pin. I don't know, were you like that? Beats me. All right, so this is the key pin on 1. Key pin on 2, oh, okay. Three. So far, nothing extraordinary with the key pins. Other than, yes, 2 is definitely a different shape. That is interesting. So they've done something a bit tricksy to possibly to thwart pickers or possibly to thwart bumping. Actually, that might be a really great bumping defense. Unless you have a special key or really already know what you're getting into when you try to bump it. This might be shavings from when I had to chop the middle in half. Okay, let's get these key control pins out of the way. That looks two-sided, so I don't know if I have to pay attention to which way that goes. Oh, okay, that one's sprung. And looks like there's something else inside there. You're also sprung. Interesting. That okay. Wild stuff. So if I put this in, we can see that these holes are the for the key pins, and these spots appear to be for these key control pins. That helps reduce the possibility of getting blanks for those guys quite so easily. Doesn't appear to be anything special going on in the core. Those are okay. Those are the 5 for the key pins, for the key control pins. And here we have, again, nothing special here. Yeah, it's wide open, so you just got some overmilling there that allows these key pins to go in there. But again, something that's very interesting is all these key pins have about the same. You know, they've got this seems to be the part that drops down into the chamber that you can interact with, and then this part sits above it and rests on the ledge of the milling. But pin 2, and I don't know if it'll always be pin 2 or what. I'm not going to get a whole bunch of these, but pin 2 will sit way up higher in there. Let's look at the key, and we see the bidding on pin 2 is definitely much higher than any of the other biddings. So it's very interesting the way they did that this way, because like a regular bump key with just the sort of 0 bidding that you jam into it would have a hard time interacting with that pin. So it's, I think, a clever solution to that problem. I don't know how effective it is, but I like that it's something I don't recall having seen before. At least not that I knew. In particular, it might have something to do with anti-bumping. All right. Standard. Big springling. Number 2. Interesting, a spool. And that's the one that rested on this guy. I don't think we really felt much of the spool action from that. Other than the fact that it would start to get into a false set. Spool on 3, we knew that was there. There should be a spool on 4, 5, and 6, I think. We'll all have spools. Maybe 4 won't. Or maybe 4 will look a little bit different. Oh, hello. Hello, beautiful. Oh, yes. That is cool. Little T-pin, little pin-in-pin action. That is fun. That explains why it sort of felt like a spool and sort of not. I think that guy must have sat here and I'll have to figure out how that sits. Maybe I caught it on video to see it for sure. It kind of surprised me so much. That's fun. So originally, like when I first stuck the pick in, that picked like a standard to get the false set, and then after that, it picked like a spool. So I think it must sit in there like this, and the first time, sits, or it sits in there like this. And I'll have to investigate, think about it. And then it would have picked the shear line, but this would have been in the way. And then when this drops, this would have fallen down, but then it wouldn't have, picked like a spool the second time. Super fun. Well, that makes it worth getting this lock right away. Just having that kind of fun and interesting thing in there. Yeah, I suspect there's going to be some more people buying these in the near future. And I think that's it. Okay. Fun. All right. Well, I'm excited. This turned out better than I thought it would. I'm going to show off these real quick before anything, just in case anything happens to my video. So again, we have those kind of standard key pins that sit inside that on that milling ledge, and then that number 2, which sits high up, and then back. Then we have a standard on, pardon me, standard on 1. On 4, we have that mysterious pin that starts out picking like a standard, and then later picks like a spool, which was really cool. And then on 2, 3, 5 and 6, we had spools, and they're reasonably sharp-lipped, not bad spools at all. And then these are just key control pins. I think the secret to them is kind of to leave them alone while you're picking. To my knowledge, I've never had that much trouble staying away from key control pins. That's so neat, folks. Now, this is just going to be standards, but we're going to take a look inside anyway, because just to compare. Shim shibbity shim shibbity shim shim sharok. If you know is a shim, you could break your lock. One of these days I'm gonna put out that whole song, I'm telling you. Okay, I suspect this side doesn't have the key control pins because it's the inside. Right. It's got something looking weird in there. Put that right there for now. Yeah, same deal. All right, who's coming out? I think 3 wants to come out. And we're not gonna fight it. There's 4. 5, 6. And now it should be easy enough to encourage 2 to come out. 2. Same deal. 2 is that really sort of stubby little pin. There is something in here. Okay. I think that was in 2. What do you look like? I don't know. It's obviously not that important. What happens if we put it in 3? It's a little proud in 3. It's very proud if it sits that way. What happens if I put you in this way? You're just all gonna sit here for my weird lock experiments. Okay. Be going. Come on, meow. There we go. Well, that goes in skinny and down. We learned that today. Okay. Are these? Not identical. The internal side has these extra slots, I think, for the way it fits into the actuator In the middle, just some weirdness going on there. I had to grind a bunch of stuff. It was probably meant to attempt to defeat people from hacking into the locks quite physically. And now we expect a bunch of standards. Standard, 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 standard. Let my springling go. Cool. Okay, so pick-wise, very different. This is the internal side. This is the outside with the kite mark. Either way, it's 6 pins. They both have that goofy, stubby little key pin. And then the external side had 4 spools. This pin-in-pin T-pin dealy, which I'm just so happy about that. That was so cool. Which again, I think is probably more about bump resistance, or maybe it impedes foiling, or who knows, I don't know. But very cool little pin in there that surprised me. Again, it sort of picks like a standard and then a spool, so it didn't do a whole lot to defeat picking, but it was definitely a fun little extra surprise in there. That is a Genius Q, and there it is.